Up, 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 Oh, it's working. Pog. That means I did it right the first time. Okie dokie. I see a lot of people do avatar tutorial videos. They always miss stuff or go over things or they miss the simple things in life, like cats and orange juice. I'd like to try and fix that, I guess. Sorry, can't think. So basically, this video, I want to try and show everybody how the heck to upload an avatar, basically from scratch or from Booth, without anything else. So you're just gonna have an avatar and some textures. That's it. So I'm gonna show you how to get an avatar like that uploadable for 3.0 and how to do some other stuff. I have a little list here of cool things on my sticky notes. I do not know if you can read that. I really hope you can. But so we're going to be going over downloading the correct version of Unity. We're going to go over downloading the SDK, downloading shaders that you'd want to use, dynamic bones, which is in the Unity store, downloading your avatar, or if you already have your avatar, you don't need to download anything, of course. Importing all of that stuff, importing your avatar. Then we're going to be going over other important things that are very important. So there's a thing called legacy blend shape normals. I'll explain that later. Jawbone, I'll explain that later. Mesh anchors, I'll explain that later. Making your materials, so that's if you import a model and all you have are the textures, I'll show you how to make those into a material that cooperate with your shader and they will work on your avatar, hopefully perfectly. I'll show you how to put on dynamic bones. I'll even show you how to edit the dynamic bone and make sure that it looks nice and plays well with your avatar. I'll show you how to put your avatar descriptor on. That's obviously the most important part for having a 3.0 model, is you need to have a descriptor, otherwise it has no idea what the hell it is. I'll show you how to make menu, parameters, and FX controller. These are the basis for 3.0 avatars. These are absolutely what you need to absolutely do everything. So you need a menu to press your buttons in game. You need parameters so that it knows what those buttons do. You need the FX controller so that it also knows what those buttons do. This is the stuff that is probably for most people the hardest to get down, the hardest to understand and create for an avatar that doesn't have them already. I assure you it's not that hard, it's quite easy. There are examples given inside the VRChat SDK that you can just borrow from and edit, and it's quite easy. I'll then show you how to make hand gestures and face animations from scratch. That should be fairly easy. Cloth toggles. There are all sorts of things that you can do with 3.0 avatars. You can put pens on there, you could put cameras on there, you can put crazy animations, you could do guns or swords or whatever the heck. I'm just going to be going over the most basic of things that I think most people want 3.0 for, which is the toggle system. And you can toggle all sorts of stuff. You can toggle your hairstyle if you want a different hair. You can toggle your outfits. You can toggle your materials so you can have two different materials on the same thing. They're very important and probably what everybody has 3.0 for, because 3.0 makes your toggles very efficient as compared to the old 2.0 way. I'll then show you how to put all of that stuff into buttons on your avatar so that you can actually use it in game and see them happen. And then we'll upload it in VRChat and we'll give it a test, and hopefully that should be it. This is my first video, or stream, whatever the fuck, where I'm giving a tutorial on things, so forgive me if I get quiet or completely forget stuff. I will try and explain everything I can as I go, as simple as I can, so the common people can understand what the hell is going on. I understand that a lot of people are quite scared of starting a 3.0 avatar because they think it's crazy and they see all the programming parts and the graphs and stuff and think that they can't do it. It's not that hard. It's pretty easy. I'll show you guys how to do it. So, first thing, download Unity. You need Unity. Unity is the basis where you are going to be creating your avatar. Sorry. I meant to say uploading your avatar, rather, creating it into an avatar, because there is another program called Blender, and Blender is exclusively used for modeling. So that would be anything from putting clothes on. That's like, damn, it's everything basically. So if you don't have a model, or you want to edit your model, if you want to put clothes on it, or if you want to put a new hairstyle or something on there, Blender is where you're going to be doing that, and you're going to need to find another tutorial for that because I don't understand a damn thing about Blender. Sorry. But Unity, on the other hand, Unity is where you take that already completed model and you turn it into an avatar so that VRChat can understand what the heck it is. So that's what we're going to be going over. Downloading Unity is pretty easy. If you go to the VRChat website, you will need to use a VRChat account. Steam accounts won't work for this. You cannot upload avatars to Steam accounts. So you'll need a VRChat account. And once you log into the VRChat website, on the left side, there's these options: friend locations, download, worlds, avatars. You need to go to your download section. And in your download section, they have this stuff: download, Steam client, Oculus client. You don't need to worry about that. I'm pretty sure you already have Steam, and you probably already have VRChat installed from Steam. So you go to content creation where it says download Unity, and you can open that in a new tab. I already have it open here. And don't worry, this is a lot of stuff. You can ignore the stuff on the left. That's for if you need to find other articles, but what you're going to be focusing on is this main section right here. Setting up the SDK, setting up Unity. So you need to install Unity. You're going to be having the current version of it, and they recommend using Unity Hub. So what Unity Hub is, it's like a front for all your other Unity versions. Some people have multiple versions of Unity installed on their computer, so they can do other projects, you know, if they're working on multiple games or working on different programs and stuff like that. But VRChat, we only use Unity version, what the heck is it, 2018.4.20, I believe? So you're going to click this right here where it says currently supported Unity version, and it shows you right here the current Unity version in use by VRChat is 2018.4.20 F1. So you go here and ignore this for just a second, and you go down to Unity Hub. It strongly recommends you using Unity Hub. It makes having Unity versions easier. I just recommend it because it's easy to download and just works. So, right, you click here to install Unity Hub. I already have it installed. You would go over here to where it says download Unity. It says here you can download, choose your Unity and then download, or you can just download Unity Hub. Just hit download Unity Hub. You don't need to choose your Unity because they're going to present you a bunch of versions of Unity that aren't the one that we're looking for. So you'll hit download Unity Hub, and it's been a while since I've done that. So basically what it's going to do is it should just download. It should have you create an account for Unity. I'm pretty sure all of that was pretty straightforward for me. So yeah, once you have Unity Hub downloaded and installed, then you go back to this page, and then right below where we just previously clicked to install Unity Hub, there will be this other option called click here to install the current version of Unity via Unity Hub. Now, when you click this, it should literally just open up in your Unity Hub. It'll give you a notification on Chrome saying open Unity Hub, and if it wants to start this, right? So as soon as you click open Unity Hub, it'll open your Unity Hub and it will start downloading the correct version of Unity for you. It'll be the exact one that you need. There should be zero issue there. And once you have that installed, you should be good for Unity side of things. You would then need your SDK. So for the SDK, that is also right here on the same exact page on the VRChat website. On the bottom right, you'll see VRChat SDK 3. Ignore on the left where it says SDK 2. This is older stuff. That's only going to be for really older stuff. We should not be using that anymore. We should all be using SDK 3 now. So you will click SDK 3 avatars. Now this button is always updated with the most recent version of Unity, with the most recent version of the SDK that they have. So if there's ever a new update and you need to get it, you don't necessarily need to update every single time. But if something's broken or something's not working, then yeah, that might be what you need to do. Basically, you click download SDK 3 avatars and you get the new SDK package. It's a .unity package file. That's exactly what you need. That's fine. The next thing you'll need is your shaders. Now, a lot of people use all sorts of shaders. There's all sorts of shaders for this game that you can use. Now, shaders are essentially what your avatar, what judges your avatar's appearance and stuff like that, right? So there's different shaders, like there's Poyomi, there's this person called JJ's, there's this one called Unity-chan. So there's a couple different ones. I personally prefer JJ's. I think it looks nice on my avatars and it's quite simple to set up. Poyomi has all sorts of options. It confuses me. Unity-chan shader, I never learned how to use it, so I'm just going to stick with JJ. But you can use basically any shader you want. This section doesn't really matter for you. It's the setup itself for that shader that's going to be different depending. So today we're going to be using ZayZay's. So for his shader, and for other people's shader as well, usually you can just Google them, right? So ZayZay shader, and his is up on a website called GitHub. GitHub's a little confusing. I don't understand GitHub for the most part, but I do know that it works. So on the right side, you'll see here where it says releases. He has version 3.0.2 as the latest release. You can just click that. And down here, he has a bunch of description for it. Down here, where it says assets, you just download source code zip. You do not need tar or GZ unless the program that you're using only uses that. But I'm pretty sure most people are using 7-zip or WinRAR. So you can just download source code zip right here, and that'll download. That'll be a zip file. What you want to do is show this. Hold on. You'll want to show that. I'm just going to hide all my stuff, sorry. Yep, you'll want to show that, and you can just unzip that or extract it to its own folder. So now you have the open folder. You cannot put zip files into Unity directly. That won't work. You need to have them unzipped. So you see in here, it's just folder, blah, 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 bunch of nonsense. You don't need to understand what that means. Unity will understand what all of that means. So all you need is that folder for now. We'll go back to the page here. The next thing you're going to need is dynamic bones. So the dynamic bone thing, you will need to purchase this from the Unity store once you actually get into Unity. There's a section there called the Unity store where you'll need to purchase dynamic bones yourself. I forget how much it costs, but it often goes on sale as well if you really want to wait. But you will need to purchase that. Dynamic bones are necessary for making your avatar's bones move and wiggle. So like if you want your hair to jiggle, or if you have some clothing items that need to move or whatever, dynamic bones will be necessary to do that. So next, downloading your avatar. Now, you may already have an avatar, you might have the files for it, everything you need. That's perfectly fine. You can use that in this tutorial here. But if you don't have an avatar or you're looking for an avatar, a great website that we often recommend people to use is this website called Booth. Booth is a primarily Japanese website where you can go shop for all sorts of products. There's real products here, there's clothings, there's paintings, music. They have all sorts of things, but it's also a really big marketplace for 3D models. I'll include a link in a YouTube description if I remember. I'll probably forget, but basically you type in booth.pm and you should find the website and you should be able to navigate yourself to models. So there's all sorts of models here. There are thousands of models and they're very, very nice. There's all sorts of great ones, custom ones, unique ones, just stuff you might never see before. If you go to new, you can find other things. Not everything here is going to be an avatar or even assumed for VR chat, however. Sometimes there will be stuff here that looks like a model that you could use but isn't directly intended for VR chat. What that means essentially is that the bone structure might be different, meaning VR chat won't know how to use the avatar. That happens once in a while, so if you do look for an avatar, make sure you at least click it and go through reading some of the stuff. So you can translate to English if you right-click the page. And you can see here that this is a 3D model designed to be used with VR chat. So typically just look to see if they mention VR chat, look to see if they acknowledge VR chat, and if the model is meant for VR chat. That's typically your giving sign. Most of the models here are for VR chat, however. They can be used for VR chat. So you could check out whatever the heck one you want. If you want one with Big Mommy Milkers, here you go. You can have that uploaded in $70. 7,000 JPY is 7,000 Japanese yen. That roughly translates to about $70 USD. This is also a model that would work on VR chat, so perfectly fine, whatever one you want to use. Today I already have a model downloaded. I have this. I purchased this a while back. This is a fairly old avatar, but it's very nice. I love it. I'm going to be using this as our example today. Her name's Kella. Say hi. There's a few options here. This is a little confusing for some things. Sometimes you have different options for purchasing on a model. This one has stuff for Vroid, which is another 3D modeling program. This also has blend shape data not included. I ignore all that. You just want avatar for VR chat if you purchase this one. So I already have it. I purchased it already a long time ago. So what I download here is the most recent version here, 1.31 zip. Download that. This other stuff here is just some stuff that the model creator included later. I don't need any of that unless I want it later. So got the zip file downloaded. So I should be able to show in folder. And I can also unpack this to its own folder so that Unity can see what the heck it is. So she's got her own folder here. And if you open it, you actually see that she has her own texture stuff here, pre-made textures for her hair, for her shoes, for her skin. There's pre-made textures. And there's also this here. There's a Unity package file here. This is what actually holds the avatar in this case. Sometimes it's a little bit different for other avatars. Sometimes they might include everything. Sometimes they'll have a pre-made package file. In this case, all I need is this Unity package file. I suppose you'd have to figure that out as you go, which one you'd need to import. But for the most part, I'm 99% sure that most of these models that you would purchase off a booth will come with their own Unity package file, which is what you will need to be importing into Unity. You won't need to directly import this whole folder. You could just go straight into it and import this Unity package file. What's next? So, okay, importing SDK, shaders, bones. So typically, when you start your project, I like to keep all of my avatars in their own separate project, because if you have everything in one project, you're going to end up like my poor friend Miku, and all of her stuff is going to break, and then she loses 10 models at once because none of them will work anymore. You don't be her. Have a new project for each one. So every project you start with, you'll always be importing your SDK, your shaders, and your bones. So I'm going to open up Unity here. I'm going to make a new project on top right. You always leave template to 3D for VR chat. This stuff doesn't super duper matter, but you're going to leave it to 3D for VR chat. We'll name it. So I'm going to name this one Kala Test, since we're testing on that right now. Blah, blah, blah. You can ignore all the rest of that stuff. Create project. And this is going to take a second. So don't really worry if stuff in Unity hitches. Oftentimes it's just importing some larger file, or it's just loading its sweet time. I have a fairly powerful PC, but even my PC typically slows down once in a while. Okay, so your page is going to look different than mine. I have my Unity set up a little bit different than other people. So typically, you will have God, how do I explain this? Things will be in a different order than they are for me right now. So yours will probably look something like this. But I like to split my stuff into different windows and stuff. Helps me stay a little bit more organized for my own stuff. First thing you're gonna do, you need to go to Window and go to rendering and go to lighting settings right here. And that'll open up this page right here that I'm holding. So lighting settings, and you can ignore all that. None of this is important for you. All you need is auto generate down here. You need to turn this off, otherwise you're not going to be able to upload it. I had to give you a bunch of weird problems and stuff, blah blah blah. You unclick auto generate, done. That's all you need to do. You can completely ignore this tab now. You can close it even. You don't need to see that anymore. We're going to first of all import our where is it? We're going to import our shaders, and then we're going to import our SDK. So let me do SDK first. So you can typically just throw this stuff right into your assets folder. There's a huge section down here where you'll have your folders called your assets folder. That's where you just throw stuff in to import it. So I just drag and drop that in there. It's gonna bring up this little thing here for the package, telling me if I want to import all of this. Unless you're doing some advanced options or you absolutely need to take something out, you just hit import. For most people, just hit import. It'll write package items, it'll do a bunch of other crazy stuff, and give it a little bit. It'll take longer depending on how large it is or how much stuff it needs to do. Well, you don't realize how long this takes until you're recording a video on it. And it should be done now? Yeah, okay, it's done. So now you have a whole folder down here called VRC SDK. This shows you that you just imported it correctly. You'll also have a new tab up here on your top of the window, and you'll have a tab here called VRChat SDK. I typically like to show control panel, and this is what you're going to need to be looking at. You can grab this tab right here and drag it around, and I'm going to put it next to my inspector. I put it next to my inspector just so I can go between them. They're really quick to go between. You'll need to log in at some point. I'll do that later. That's not important yet. So got the SDK in. Next thing that you're going to need is your shaders. So go back to my downloads, find my shader. My shader is JJ's Unity Shader 3.0.2. I just drag this straight in there. And I'll give it a second. It's importing stuff. So typically when you're importing things, what I've noticed is what takes the longest, you can even read like here, at like dot something dot something. It's typically pictures that take the longest. I'm not sure why that happens. That's just what happens. Pictures take a long time. So JJ's Unity shaders here, that's good. We have that imported now. So the next thing you'd want to do is your dynamic bones. So you typically go to your asset store and you type it in, find dynamic bones, you download it, blah blah blah. I already have it in one of my folders, so give me just a second and I'll throw that in there myself. Okie dokie. I'm importing dynamic bones, blah blah blah. Okie dokie. Got dynamic bones. Now all you need to throw in next is your avatar. So find wherever the heck you have your avatar downloaded. You might be importing a 2.0 model. I imagine most of you are probably using 2.0 models or models that just simply don't have anything set up. If it's ready for VR chat and it's an avatar, or you bought it from Booth and it is also an avatar, it does not matter if it is 2.0 ready or 3.0 ready. My tutorial will work for anything. Well, I say anything, just as long as it's VR chat ready. So I'm gonna get my Kella model, and I'm gonna open that up, and open this up, and I got my Unity package file, and I'm just gonna import that. So like I said before, Booth models, you can typically just import a Unity package file that is included in there. And you can see here, I have all sorts of stuff. I have anims, which is some animations that are included with it. Data, which is the actual model. I have materials, which is some pre-made materials. Some other stuff. I have all the textures. All of the textures are included inside the package. Tune. So this section right here is the shader that is pre-included with the avatar. Typically, the model creators on Booth will include their own shader. You can use that if you'd like. I'm not going to use it today, but I'll keep it here importing anyway. I'll switch everything though. I could show you how to do that as well. But it depends on what you want. So I'm going to import this, and it's going to import all the textures. It's going to import the model. It's going to import that shader that included with it. So cool, I got it. So you go in your assets folder, you need to find your model now so you can put it out in your scene so you can see it. So you open this up, and sometimes the folders will look different. Everyone has a different layout for their stuff, but you can see here I already have a model set up right here called Kella 1.31, and you can see on the bottom here it is set up as a prefab. Now what this means is I'm a lucky boy, and today's my lucky day. I already can just drag this into the scene, or if you want to put it perfectly in the middle, you just drag it into your hierarchy instead. This left side where all your stuff goes is called a hierarchy. So you can just drag it into there at any point, and it'll go to the 0, 0, 0 of your Unity scene. You can see here I have all sorts of stuff on here, like sprays and particles or dynamic bones and colliders and stuff. Now, the yellow stuff here with these white lines, these are the dynamic bones. That means that when I imported dynamic bones, it imported correctly, and it works with this prefab. Everything is already set up. So I could just go ahead and basically almost upload this already, but I'm going to do this from scratch. So I'm going to show you guys how to do this another way. So I'm just going to delete this. You could always just use that, but I'm going to go the long way and find my model itself. So I have the model right here. This is not a prefab. This is just the model. As you can tell, there are no yellow things, there's no particles, there's nothing here. It's just the model itself this time. Now, I can still use this. Everything is perfectly fine. I'm just going to be applying stuff myself. So in this case, I'm just going to leave it like that for just a moment. What we want to go over is a thing called legacy blend shape normals. Now, Sometimes your model, if you bought it from a place, it will probably already have this stuff set up, but I'm going to show you anyway for people who don't have it, because you may have a model that you just had and you need to upload. So you need to find that model that you just dragged in, wherever your model is. If you don't know where it is, you can click the name of your model on the hierarchy. And on the left side, you'll always have this thing here called an animator. You don't need to do anything with this, but if you look here, you'll have controller and you'll have avatar. So you click avatar, where it just says the name. You click it once, and it'll show you the exact location for it. And you just need to find what this is connected to. So it says here that that's the model, and it's connected to this, which is the same thing that we dragged in earlier. So you click that, and on the right side, the inspector, this is the right side, that's called the inspector panel. On the right side, we're going to go to model, and we're going to go to this section on the bottom, and there's a thing here under geometry called legacy blend shape normals. It's already ticked off, which means that's fine, that's good. But if not, then your stuff will look like this. You'll have options for normals and blend shape normals, and they could be set to whatever, that doesn't matter. You just need to make sure that legacy blend shape normals is ticked off to check. So you check that, one of those options will disappear, that's perfectly fine. Then you hit apply, and this takes usually a very long time, but it'll apply and it'll be good. The next part you do is next to model, you go to rig. And on your rig, you'll have animation type, and this always needs to be set to humanoid. It might be set to generic, or it might be set to none when you first import your model. You need to have it set to humanoid, that way VRChat knows it's a human, it knows that you're in VR, it knows how to use it, right? So as soon as that's set to human, you would go to over here where avatar definition, leave that alone to create from this model, and then underneath that is the configure. So you're going to click configure, it'll ask you scenes have been modified, would you like to save, hit save. So you'll be brought to this. It opens up everything. Ignore this. That looks scary. It's not that bad. You can minimize that. That's not important. So you can zoom into your avatar. You'll see here it shows you your bones, shows you important stuff about the avatar. All you need to pay attention on is the right side of your inspector here. So you'll see you have this little gray guy here, green guy, who is your avatar. Now, this avatar, very strange, has an upper chest. Upper chest will not work in VRChat, so you can just click this and delete that. I don't know why that has an upper chest. That's not good. I don't like that. Oh no. There we go. Yeah, I deleted it. Good. Upper chests don't work in VRChat. Chest will work. You need to make sure chest is assigned to wherever your chest bone is. Usually your model should have every one of these set up though. This should all be okay. You also want to take a look at head. Head is the main problem. Head is the main reason we are here. So right here where you go to body, you will go to head, you click that, and you need to make sure that right here, this section where it says jaw has nothing in it. If it typically does, it will usually try assigning the bone closest to where it thinks the jaw is. So in my case, it may have assigned one of these hair bones, but thankfully it didn't. I'm fine. You go over here, and if it does have a bone in there, you need to get rid of it. So you're going to click that, and you're just going to hit the delete key on your keyboard, and it'll get rid of it, and that'll be good. So after you make sure the jawbone is empty, you hit apply, then you hit done, and you're back to your model. Next thing, what the heck do we do? We checked the jawbone. Mesh anchors. Okay, so there's an important thing called mesh anchors. It's kind of important for the lighting of your avatar. It depicts basically where your avatar is going to collect lighting data from the world that you're hiding in. So if you have like my sweater here, right? It might try collecting data from here, or my shoes might try collecting data from the middle. You just want to make sure that that's all set to the same. So you would grab your avatar and you open it up right here on your scene. And I have all sorts of meshes here. You see I have back hair, I have body, I have bottoms, I have hair, shoes, then skeleton right here. This is actually the bones of the avatar. So you can ignore that for the moment. That's not a mesh, these are the bones. Then you'll have sotai, which is the skin of the avatar for this one. Then you'll have tops. So Every single one of these are a mesh. I could click through, if I hit control and click everything, I can click all of those and you'll see little by little more and more of my avatars highlighted, indicating that these are meshes. And on the right side, you will have this skinned mesh render. What you want to do here for anchors is you have a section here called anchor override. All you're going to want to do is open up your skeleton and find your spine bone, or you can use your neck too. Neck will work as well, but I'm going to use my spine for this example. So while you have all of these selected at once for your meshes, you will be dragging in your spine bone directly into that anchor override section. So I can grab this and I could put it straight into anchor override and just drop it right there where it says none. Just drop it there. And now my anchor override for all of my stuff is set. That's the only time you'll ever have to do this for your meshes. It just helps lighting stuff. So now you can go through all of these and you can click them and you can see here that anchor override is bold, meaning that there's something in it. That's good, that's fine, everything will work here. Let's see, next. Making materials if none exist. Okay, so my avatar, obviously, I already have textures on this thing. That's good. That means that I don't need to do that, but I'm going to show you how to do materials anyway. So you can see here in my assets folder, there's a materials folder here, and there's also a textures folder. So textures is where the raw texture data for everything is held, and then materials is where the actual material is. So when you put a material on an avatar, you're typically going to put an actual material. It needs to be rounded, you need to click it, and it needs to look like that. That means it's a material. It'll have options for it all here. That's a material. It is not a texture. You can't just grab this texture and drag it onto your avatar. It won't work, it won't apply, nothing will happen. So you need to apply this texture to a material first in order for it to work. Now this avatar already has a bunch of materials. I'm just going to create a new folder right here, and I'm just gonna name it my materials. This is just for experimenting sake. I already have the materials. This is completely unnecessary. So all you would do for your material is you will right click your page and you'll go up to create and you'll go down to material. It's right underneath audio mixer. You hit material. Now automatically when you make a material, it'll just be gray. It won't have any texture and it will be set to standard. On the top where you see inspector, you can see all your data about the shader and whatever. You're going to hit shader where it says standard, and in my case I'm going to be changing this to JJ's and tune 3 for his stuff, and just set that to that. So now this material, you can see the color of it changed. Now this material has been set to JJ's shader. So what I'm going to want to do now is put in the texture. So you can click this little circle next to main texture. It's a tiny little circle. Click that, and well, let's do the face, right? So I believe this is the face texture right here. So I'm gonna click that, double click it, and make sure that it's in there. So now the face has its own material. So I can now grab this material that is using JJ shader, and I should be able to just drag it directly onto this. Yeah, it would apply to everything, but you want to put it to the face. And you can see clearly that now it kind of changes a little bit. That outline goes away. The outline is only there because the previous shader is using an outline. This one does not. So boom, throw that on there, and that's completely done. Now what you would do if you don't have materials for anything is you would be having to create materials for every single one of these, making sure that they're all set to the same material or same shader, and you do it again for each of your textures. So in my case, I already know what this avatar has. If you click the avatar model right here, you'll be able to go to all of your meshes, right? So I have my mesh for my back hair, my body, my bottoms, everything. And I can clearly see that everything here has a shader on it on the right side underneath the inspector, where you could open it up and you could edit all your shader properties if you'd like. But this basically just tells you, hey, this mesh back here has one material on it. Here's what it is. You could go to your other stuff and see by clicking the body, there are a lot of materials on just the body for this avatar, which means a lot of stuff that you would need to create yourself if you were making your own custom stuff. However, I want to show you another way to do this. Instead of having to create all your new materials for all your textures and stuff like that, if you didn't have any, you will instead find your materials folder, and what I can actually just do here is I can click through every single one of these and shift click all the way to the end of the shaders. I'm going to ignore these last two. Those are not important for this model. I don't have any hard to explain. The model creator is supposed to have zippers here. That's what these are for. I don't have the zippers on. I need to put them on myself. I don't want them. I don't care. So I'm just going to select all of these shaders and have them selected. And you can see on the top right here, you have 16 materials selected. I can click shader and I can go to JJ's Tune 3 and hit that. And boom, as soon as I hit that, it'll do a long process. And now everything has been switched over to 3.0. Now, there's a few issues here. Obviously, her eyebrows are missing now for some unknown reason. So you'd have to go and find your eyebrow mesh and figure out where that is and why the hell it's missing. This is going to be a little bit of troubleshooting that typically happens when you switch all your materials. You can be like me and be a dork, but you're going to have to run through some fixes. So the reason that this is disappearing for some reason is because the shader has decided that it wants to use dithered mode. I don't like dithered. Dithered will make your texture disappear. As you can see, there's a bunch of little dots in here. We can fix all of this pretty easily, I'm pretty sure, if we click all the shaders again. Make sure all of the shaders are selected, all the materials, sorry, are selected. And this time, for JJ specifically, this is going to change depending on what material you're using. But you're going to go to your blend mode, which is where he decides to pick opaque, cutout, dithered, or whatever the heck, the type of shader that it is. I'm going to go to cutout. And that should fix all of my issues, I imagine. So now that's good. My clothes still look fine. My face looks okay. You can see here, this model in particular is having an issue with the back of the head. Boy, I didn't expect that. That's a new one. Okay, let's see. Why is it doing that? I'll click the mesh, we'll click that, we'll try and figure out what the heck is going on here. And it just fixed itself. Okay, I don't know what to say about that. I'm sorry. There are a lot of weird things about this program, I guess. There is one thing I do want to address. There's this thing called backface culling. Now, you can see here, this mesh right here, the sweater. Obviously, there's mesh in front of it. You can see the sweater. But if you peek around it, you can clearly see directly through it. There's nothing on the other side. This ticks me off in video games. I hate when I see this, so I'm going to change it myself. So if you want to just edit that one shader, you're gonna click the material and you can find your shader. That's the one that it's using right here. You open that up, and for JJ shader specifically, we have culling mode. Now this is what loads either the front or the back. I can show you an example. Right now it's at the back facing, which means we're only going to be able to see this side and not the other side. Culling means no, basically. It says that it's not going to load that section. So if I change my culling mode to front instead of back, then it would make it the other way around. So now I can only see the back of the mesh and I cannot see the front. What you want to do though, since it's set the back by default, what I want to do is I'm going to set it to off. That way I can see both sides of it. It won't cut off anything. I can see through. You can see there's a fairly large difference having it from default and then turning it off. You can see now, you can see the back of that stuff. Quite nice. I consider it important. I just noticed my eyebrows are missing, so we're going to address that in a second. Where the hell are they? I have no idea. One of these materials have to be the eyebrows. And I clicked the material and it showed up again because yay, Unity is hating me today. It's not helping me. But yeah, that works. Sorry. Everything on the model looks good now. Things are looking nice. The model looks like how it should. Now, results could obviously vary from person to person. Changing your materials and putting the materials on, you know, they could be completely different. I do want to look at one thing specifically, this jacket. There are all sorts of things that you can do with the shaders. It depends on what kind of shader you're using. You see here, there's like a plethora of options here. It might be overwhelming for some people, but stick with me. It's not that bad. I'm not going to be using like 90% of these damn things right now. I'm only going to be going over this. There's a hue slider in this shader, and what that will do is it changes the primary hue color, right? So I can just slide this and now my jacket is changing color. Most shaders will have an option like this somewhere inside them. It depends on which shader you're using. For JJ specifically, it's called the hue slider right here. I can change a few things about this. I can change how bright the whole jacket is. I can change how dark it is. That will vary from shader to shader. Every shader is capable of doing different things. That's why people use different ones. I'm just going to leave it like this for now. I think everything looks good. If you like the way that your materials look, then you shouldn't need to fiddle with them anymore. Everything should be okie dokie. So, now that you made your materials and got your materials on there and got your avatar looking the way it wants, I should clarify. Obviously, you can edit this stuff. Like, if I don't like this green mark on the skin right here, right? So you could open up your shader. If I don't like this green mark on the skin right here, or blue, sorry, I'm dumb. If I don't like that, I can actually go to this texture, right? And I can click the texture, the square of it, and it will show me where in my project this file is located. And when I click it, you can see it highlights right here, meaning this is the texture that this shader is currently using. So you could take this file, you can show an explorer, and you could find wherever the heck it is, and you could edit that in whatever paint program you want or editing software you want, and you could change the texture yourself. Now, this would change from avatar to avatar. They don't all look the same. It can be completely different. You might even get lucky and buy an avatar that has a Photoshop document that includes everything to edit, right? So you might have a Photoshop document that lets you like take off these lines or take off those lines, for example. That's if you get lucky, if the model creator was really putting a lot of work into it. They don't always have that though, which is completely fine. You can always just edit it yourself if you're pretty decent at that. Not necessary though. This looks perfectly fine. I'm going to stick with this. Next thing, dynamic bones. Okay, so dynamic bones is what you will need if you want your hair to jiggle or something like that, right? So if you want to find where to put these dynamic bones on, first you need to find your skeleton of your avatar or your bones, right? So in my case, it was called skeleton. You would open that up and you just need to navigate down this hierarchy until you find your head and find your hair. Now, every single one of these, they will probably be named differently, but for the most part, every hierarchy on every avatar is going to follow the same rule. It will start with your root, it will start with your hips, then your spine, then your chest, and then you open up your chest, and then your upper chest. This avatar has an upper chest, I'm sorry. I have a bad feeling about this avatar. I don't know if I'm going to be able to upload this. We'll keep going, I'm sorry. You open that up, you go to your neck, and you can open your neck up, open your head up, and you can see here I have a lot of hair joints, and I also... Good lord, this is going to suck. So, in my case, I am unlucky and I don't have a hair root, meaning I'm going to have to apply dynamic bones to every single one of these, which does suck a little, but I'm only going to do it to a few. I don't want to waste that much time. you will probably be much luckier than I will, and very likely you're going to have a bone here called like hair root, or it's going to be some root, and it's going to control every one of your hairs. So one easy way to tell what hair it controls is if you click the bone. Obviously you see right here it's trying to move stuff. You can move that yourself and it'll show you what bone it is, and then just hit Control Z on your keyboard to send it back to normal. In my case, every single one of mine are separated, which does suck a lot. But usually you would have a case where all of your stuff is rooted to the same one, where they would all move together somewhat like this, and it would be much easier to work on dynamic bones for. I am not so lucky, so I'm going to show you just how to do one of these. So when it comes to dynamic bones, there is no easy way to do this. It's going to take some editing. So you're going to add component. When you click on your bone, you're going to add component, hit dynamic bone. First thing you need to do is this root is empty inside your dynamic bone. It says none transform, meaning it's not working on anything. This dynamic bone could belong to anything. You need to tell it that it belongs to this. So you need to grab your bone again, drag that, put it into your root, right there. Now you see this new white line up here. That means that that is the bone that is connecting. It knows that there is a dynamic bone there now. So after you get that in there, you can leave update rate to 60, that's perfectly fine. Update rate normal, that's perfectly fine. Damping, elasticity, stiffness, and inertia, these are the main things that your avatar is going to be using. So there's all sorts of fiddling that you can do with this. It's a lot of work, but usually you can find out what works. I'm going to show you an easy way to work on this. So what you do is, once you have the dynamic bone on there, on the top of the screen, you're going to see here you have this play, pause, and skip button, right? You can hit play. It'll take a second to load. And oh, it's okay. Usually it's switched to a camera view, a game view. You don't need that. You can honestly click game and move this over to the right. Right here. Boink. Okay, leave that there. Game view is necessary for uploading. Once you get to the uploading section, all of your options for uploading will appear in game view. So you don't delete that, you need that for later. But you can just hide it off in a corner somewhere. So now that I have play, the avatar is loaded right now. It is currently trying to work with dynamic bones and stuff like that. And I'm in the scene view, so you can see the avatar. What you're going to want to do is, if you want to see what your avatar's bones do, you can click any bone in your body. You can click your head, you can go and click your hips for all I care. Basically what you're going to be doing is just moving it. You can move it left, right, and you can see that hair bone is wiggling a little bit. It's doing a little silly. So that bone is moving. Basically what you're going to be using this is, you're going to just try and figure out if you like the way that this is moving. Now right now I don't quite like the way that this is moving. It looks really strange. So you can go back to that bone, which is this bone that I selected here with the dynamic bone on it, and you'd be editing all of these things to try and figure out. Now for the most part, I can try and explain this stuff. Damping is kind of like how fast this bone's movements will slow down. So I'm gonna turn that up a little bit. There are also these other things underneath it. These big black bars underneath each of these, they're kind of graphs. They're very scary to look at. They got little presets for them. You don't need to worry about these too much, to be honest with you. Just if you accidentally click it, I don't know how to get rid of it. If you accidentally click it and you don't want to do anything, just hit this flat line right here and it'll just stay normal. It'll go back to normal, nothing will happen. This is more advanced settings. I'm not going to be messing with that today. So, like I said, damping, elasticity. This is sort of how springy the hair is going to be. And stiffness is, I'm not really sure how to explain stiffness, but all of these work differently. Now, inertia, however, inertia is a little different to explain. So you're not going to really see inertia in Unity. That's kind of hard to see. But what inertia does is this is how much your bone's movement is affected by movement in VRChat. So that's when you're using your thumbstick specifically. If you're walking or if you're jumping, inertia is what matters. It does not care if you're rotating your head or if you're jiggling your head or if you're bouncing up and down. It doesn't care. It only cares about if you're walking or if you're jumping, basically. So 0 would mean that it has full influence. Whatever your bone does in here is exactly what your avatar is going to do in game when you walk, which could be bad sometimes. Typically, you will see people running around and their hair might be going straight through their head. Easy way to fix this is putting your inertia really high. I typically put mine to like 0.8 or 0.9, somewhere around there. Now, what that'll mean is once I'm in game, however much my bone is moving, it will work just like that when I'm wiggling my head or whatever. But if I start walking, it will not be influenced that heavily. It'll still move, it'll still wiggle, and it'll still give the movements that it does before. However, it'll be at a drastically decreased magnitude. It won't be nearly as much as it is here. So messing with inertia, in my opinion, is very important if you don't want your avatar looking silly when you start running. So I just messed with these sliders, completely random. These numbers mean nothing to me. I have no idea what they look like yet. So I'm going to go to the head and start moving them again. And you can see I messed up and I made it look even worse than it did before. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It takes a little bit of experimentation, wiggling these things around until you figure out what works well. I'm sure somebody out there figures out or knows how these things work far, far better than I do. I usually just slide them around until they look okay, though. A little bit of messing around there. I can't figure out how the hell to get this thing to look good, though. So I'm kind of just gonna leave it here. In your case, you're gonna want to try and make that look decent for whenever you're moving around. It's not going to be perfect. There's absolutely no way that you can make this stuff look perfect, like IRL hair or IRL jiggles or anything. There's no way that's going to be happening. So I'm just going to call this complete, even though it obviously isn't. I'm just going to call it complete for now so we can move on. And I'm in play mode right now. Remember that. I'm in play mode. So anything that happens in play mode does not carry over. This dynamic bone script right now will not carry over. If I hit this unpause button right now, it's going to go back to default settings. So what you want to do is you can go to dynamic bone on the top here. You can right click it and you can click copy component. So that's going to copy all the data for this. So I'm just going to now hit play button, which will set me back to normal. Now I can edit things. You see everything goes back to brightness. I can edit things now. I'm going to go back to this dynamic bone. I'm going to right click it and I'm going to paste component values, which will carry over my data from last time. Now all the number data, everything from before is here again. That means it's going to work. That's how this is. That's it for dynamic bones for the moment. You could add dynamic bones to everything if you wanted to. If you wanted to make your arm jiggle for whatever reason, you could do that if you wanted to. But typically, people will only put dynamic bones on stuff like their hair, or if they have ears, or if they have a tail, for example, they would put it on there. Or if you have big boobs or something, then you could put your bones to jiggle on there as well. With a little bit of work, you could make it look pretty decent. But that's the basics. A lot of editing involved there. What is next? That's dynamic bones. Okay, so next thing, avatar descriptor. So we're going to get into the 3.0 stuff now. This is where stuff gets a little complicated, but it isn't too hard. So on your left side, where you have your hierarchy, you're going to click your avatar this time. And on the right, underneath your animator, you're going to add component. And this time I'm going to type in VRC and you have here VRC avatar descriptor. So ignore all the other stuff. This is for other things that are for other projects and stuff. All we need is VRC avatar descriptor. You're going to click that, and you're going to see this weird ball appears over your head and all this whole list of stuff. So we're going to need to go through all of these one by one. I'm going to show you a little bit of things. So first of all, your avatar's height. If you want your avatar to be tall or short or whatever, this is the part where we're going to be editing that. So I can go to this little cursor compass thing on the top right, and I'm going to go to the right side and then move it so I can see the avatar, and I'm going to hit the big square in the middle, which will go to a flat plane view. Now you can see everything is going to be flat. Main thing I want to look at here is there are grids in the background here. I'm not sure if you can see it on screen. I really hope you can, but there are grids here, and each one of these grids is 1 meter. So this avatar, if you can see, it is 1 and maybe a little more than half of another meter, meaning I'm probably standing at like 160, 170 centimeters right now. Now, if you wanted your avatar to be larger than that, you can make it larger or you can make it smaller. By clicking your avatar in the hierarchy and making sure that that's highlighted. And on the right side, you're going to have your scale. Leave position rotation alone. All you need to edit is scale. So if I wanted this to be bigger, I could change that to 1.2 on x-axis, and then you're going to need to change it to 1.2 on every other axis as well. That way it scales correctly and it scales appropriately, and it doesn't look silly or anything like that. Because otherwise you may end up with something like, you might have like 1 here, and now your avatar looks squished. So you need to make sure that scale on X, Y, and Z are all the same number as you want it to. So now you see my avatar is probably about 2 meters tall, which is pretty damn tall. I'm just going to leave it like that. It could be whatever size you want. It doesn't matter. You can have a very tall avatar, you can have a very tiny avatar. You will run into issues with both. If you make your avatar very, very tiny, you're going to find that things in game kind of suck to do. It's kind of hard to do things. If you make it too big, you'll find that your avatar's movements are kind of strange, and you bend weird and you crouch weird. Usually anything within 1 to like 3 meters is perfectly fine. Everything will be perfect. So if I want to exit this view, I can go back to this compass on the top and hit the white square again, and I'll go back to my normal 3D view. So you can see everything normally again. Now back to your avatar descriptor. When you click your avatar and go to your avatar descriptor, you can see there's this gray ball here in front of me. It may be in different locations for you. It depends for everybody. But this is where my avatar is going to try to see from. When I'm in VR, this is where my eyes are going to be located. As you can tell, it's not in my head. So what you need to do is you need to put this in your head. So you're going to go to view position, you're going to hit edit, and now it'll let you move this ball around. So you can move it on the green line, which will move it directly up, and then move it on the blue line, which will move it directly backwards. And essentially what you want to do is, I'm going to use this cursor or this compass again to flatten it out. What you want to do is you want to make sure that this is directly in the middle of your eyes. It needs to be in the middle of your eyes, somewhere around your eye height. I'm going to put it like right up here to match with my pupils. Needs to be right in the middle. Then you can look on another side, and I'm lucky here. My hair's out of the way, so I can see directly what's behind here. And I can see that this ball is almost exactly where my eyeball is. That's fine. You can adjust it a little bit. It doesn't need to be perfect. Typically, you just want it to be behind the ridge of your nose, but not too far in. Around your eyeball location is typically where you want it to be. That's good. I'm going to leave it right there. So that's view position done. You're going to hit return right here on the side to accept changes. Lip sync is the next part you want to go over. So this is what tells your avatar in game how to move its lips and adjust with like your voice when you speak. So you can hit auto detect, and it will typically figure out where your stuff is. But if that doesn't work for whatever reason, you can go here to where it says default, and you're gonna find Viseme blend shape. I'm pretty sure like 99% of avatars will be using Viseme blend shape. Jaw flap and Viseme parameter, these are for other avatars, like very unique things. If you're trying to do something crazy, or if you're making an avatar that isn't even human or something, that's probably what you're going to be using. But if you're doing something like that, you probably already know what you're doing anyway. In our case, we're only going to be using Viseme blend shape. So we click that. It's asking for face mesh, which right now is set to none. I need to figure out where my mouth movements are. And in my case, they're on my face mesh. I can click it right here, and you can see it's called body in this case. And that is where my blend shapes are for my face. That is where my face is. Now, it may be different for you. There are some avatars that the face is connected to the body as well, right? So this and this will be connected together. That's fine. That'll work as well. Essentially, all you need to just do is know where those blend shapes are. So you're gonna go back to your avatar and back to where it says face mesh. You need to drag in wherever those blend shapes are. In my case, it's called body. Even though it's the head, it's called body. I drag it in there, and it does not recognize anything, apparently. So I'm going to need to figure out where this stuff is myself. Holy crap, this is a mess. Okay, this is an outlier. I'm very sorry about this. It seems like the avatar that I just imported seems to really hate me, apparently. Typically, however, when you import this and you put your face mesh in, 9 times out of 10, it's going to work correctly. And all the stuff here where it says Viseme SIL, PP, FF, TH, DED, all that stuff will have a blend shape put into it. And they will typically say SIL or PP or FF right here in the description box. In my case, it's giving me a bunch of random ones, and a lot of them are completely freaking empty, which is not good. Means whoever the heck made this avatar did not name them appropriately, did not name the blend shapes appropriately, and that I will have to figure out what the heck works. I do see here, I have stuff, I have A, E, I, O, U, which are all the consonants, which means that I can kind of figure out how this stuff works, I guess. Oh man, this is a mess. Let's just say everything here worked. Let's say I imported it and your avatar is 9, probably going to be better than this, and it's going to work, and all your blend shapes are going to be correct. So I'm going to assume your avatar imported completely correctly and everything is fine. The only reason mine is wrong right now, the only reason I'm having an issue is because the person who made the avatar originally did not name stuff correctly. If you're buying a model off a booth, very likely it's going to be fine. This is the only avatar I've ever seen this with. This is a very rare case, so do not be afraid. Yours should be fine. If it's not, then I'm terribly sorry. I'm going to say this is done. Just pretend it's fixed. Close lip sync, and we can open up the next section that says eye look. Oh, it's already opened here. So, eye look is basically where your avatar's eyes are looking in-game. Now, you don't need to have this on. You can keep it off, but I'm going to enable it. And you're going to see all these stuff come up. Ignore this part for a second. What you're going to want to go to first is right here where it says transforms, left eye bone and right eye. Now this is where you're going to be telling it what is your left eye and what is your right eye. So I need to go back to my skeleton and I need to find the bone for those. So I can open that up, open root, hips, chest, spine, neck, head, and I need to find wherever my eye is. Now I can see right here I have L and R eye set. Yours are very likely going to be named something different, so don't worry. But yeah, these are where the bones for the eyes are. So I need to drag those in. So keep an eye on these. Go back to your avatar and find your eye bone transforms where it says left eye and right eye. And I'm going to be dragging these in. So I have L eye, drag it into left eye. I have R eye, which drags into right eye. And now I have eyes for both of these. So I'm going to go back to front view right here so I can see things in a flat face. It looks a little easier. And click your avatar again. Go to your rotation states right here. Now, this is where you're going to be able to edit what your avatar looks like doing what. So, looking straight, I'm going to hit preview, and it thinks that my avatar looks like that looking straight. Oh my god, what is wrong with this thing? What have I done? I may have dragged the wrong bone in there. Okay, hold on. I have dragged the wrong bone in there, absolutely. So I'm going to hit return. I'm going to delete this. I need to figure out where the eye is. So I'm going to open up the eye, right? And I guess I'm going to just move stuff here and figure out what moves what. This looks like it's correct. So, in my case, for some weird reason, they decided to weight paint the eye bone to some of the face. I have no clue why they did this. I have never seen this before. This is a horrible example of how it should be done. So, in my case, sorry, but I'm going to need to do it a little differently. Okay, sorry, something came up. Okay. Sorry, in my case, they, for some weird reason, decided to put the eye wrong. So I already figured out if I click through this, I can find my eye bone, move it. You're very likely not going to be running into an issue like this. Oh my god, there's a cat in my room. Okie dokie, kitty kitty. Okay, ignore most of this. I'm sorry, a lot of this avatar is set up incorrectly, and I'm going to be having issues with it. So in your case, it's very likely going to be easy to just drag in your eyes there. So I know where my eye is. I'm just going to drag the bone for the eye into there now. For you, it should be much, much easier. Then once again, go preview looking straight. And this is what my avatar is going to look like. If it's looking straight, that's fine. And then looking up, you can hit preview as well, and it'll show you what your avatar looks like looking up. You can move your bones until they look how you want them to look looking up. I'm gonna hit return again, and it'll save, so you can hit preview and you'll see what it'll look like. You could hit down, and it'll show you how it looks like when it's looking down. And then you hit left, so you move it to where it looks like when it's looking left. You essentially do that for all of your parts of it, and eventually your avatar should be looking the correct way. In my case, all of my stuff is a little bit messed up, and for some weird reason, they decided to do everything wrong. Yours is going to be much, much simpler than this, I assure you. So once you get all your previews set up for that, then in-game, once you go in-game, your avatar should be looking at things appropriately. You can adjust this eye movement thing right here to be calm or excited. This basically just changes how much your avatar's eyes look. So if you'd like, you can just set it to however you feel about it, you know, calm and confident. So eyelids type, I'm pretty sure this avatar doesn't use eyelids, but if your avatar happens to have an eyelid blend shape for whatever reason, then you could have a blend shape for that and put that in. I'm going to ignore this. Most avatars don't really use eyelids. Now that that is over, here's the fun part. This is the 3.0 part. So you go to playable layers and you open this up and you go hit customize. Now you have a bunch of stuff here. Don't worry, this stuff looks scary. It's not, I am sure you. You're gonna have base, which has base additive, gesture, action, FX, and you'll have special, sitting, T-pose, IK pose. You can ignore special. I have never touched special. I don't really know what this stuff is for. But it's not super duper important. What we're going to be messing with importantly here is we're going to want FX. So I imagine you're probably here because you want to toggle your avatar stuff. You probably want to like click this and you want to have an outfit variant where your jacket is off, or you want something where your sweatpants are turned off or something, right? So that's where this comes in. Everything inside the following parts are going to be the parts that you're looking for. So we need to create a FX layer. We need to create a whole controller for this. Thankfully, VRChat already includes pre-made ones for us. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to your avatar first, right? I already have a folder in here called anims where there's a bunch of stuff here, but these are really, really old, and I'm very, very certain that most of these are for 2.0 stuff. These right here, for example, are 2.0 things. So I'm not even going to be using these. I need to make completely new ones. So I'm gonna... Sorry. I'm going to have to create an entirely new one. So I'm just going to make a new folder right now. I'm going to name this animations. It's 3.0. Now I have a 3.0 one. You can just ignore this old folder. We're not using that anymore. So I have an animation 3.0 folder. So keep an eye on this. If you look on your left side, that's where it is. You can see it right here. What we need to do, however, is we need to find the pre-made template. There is a pre-made template inside the VRChat SDK. So you don't need to search through it. You can go over here on your search bar up here and you can just type in FX and hit search, and hopefully it'll find it. Oh, no, never mind. I'm incorrect. It's named something completely different. I forgot. So, where is it? Where is it? I'm gonna go through this. Sorry, give me just a moment. I'm doing this kind of impromptu, so I'm not 100% sure where everything is. Animation? Controllers? Ooh, it's one of these for sure. Ah, that's what it is. I remember. Okay, so next step. You need to go inside your assets, go to VRC SDK, examples 3, animation, and then go to controllers. Now, there are a bunch of pre-made controllers here where you're going to be looking at stuff. So you can see here, you can click through them and you can read the full thing on the bottom. This says action layer, this says face layer, this says hands layer, this says hands layers 2, idle layer, blah blah blah. Don't worry about any of these. All we want right now is, I'm going to be using a hands layer. Let's say we'll do that. Now, typically with this stuff on 3.0, as you saw before, we have all these extra things here: FX, action, gesture. Now, typically, you'd be using gesture for hand movements, bone movements, and stuff. So when you're in game and you're doing stuff like a closed fist or you're doing a finger point or whatever, all those animations are going to be going into gesture. And FX is where stuff like clothing changes. I have a cat in my room. I'm sorry, she's meowing. Oh, baby, 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 where are you? Baby, where are you? Hello? What the fuck? Kitty? Oh my god, I kicked you. Oh, there you are. Hi, baby. I'm sorry. Come here, come here, come here. Oh, you're so cute. Okay, I'm sorry. Kitty cat problems. Where was I? Yeah, okay. So gesture controller is where... Oh, don't jump off! Gesture controller is where bone movements go. FX controller is where any facial expressions or blend shapes, or where any clothing toggles and things of the like, that is where those will go. So I'm going to make a gesture one right now, okay? So we're gonna just work on finger movements. So I'm gonna go back to this SDK examples 3 animation controllers folder, and I'm gonna find hands layer, which will be gesture basically. What you can do here is you can hit Control D on your keyboard, which will duplicate it. And I now have a second one. So I'm going to click the title of this or rename it, and I'm going to rename this one to Kella Hands. So you can rename that to Kella Hands. And now I have a controller called Kella Hands. You can grab this, and remember from before where I said keep an eye on this for your assets folder, you have your avatar, wherever it is, and then you have your 3.0 folder that I made. So you should have made one too. You get your hands and you throw it directly into that folder. Bunk, and now it's in there. Okay, so we got the hands. I want to make one for the face as well. So if you want to do that, then you're gonna find whichever one here says face. Here we go, this one says face layer. So you're gonna get this, you're gonna also duplicate it, Control D on the keyboard, duplicate it, rename it. Sorry, I have people running around. So you're gonna get your face layer that you just duplicated, and you're gonna want to rename that. In my case, I'm gonna name it to Kella Face. Renamed it to Kella Face, and we're gonna do the same thing as before. Throw that into your Animations 3.0 folder, put it in there, and now you can open that folder. And this is the folder we made before, your Animations 3.0 folder. Open that up, and you have two of these controllers in here. We're gonna leave these right here, but what we're gonna do now is make another folder where make a folder, and I'm gonna name this face animations, I guess. And we're gonna make another folder where you can do hand animations. Now, the reason I'm being so organized about this is because once you start making a bunch of animations, it can be kind of confusing. So it's very useful to just have them in a folder all next to each other. So obviously, we don't have any hand animations yet, and making them from scratch would be really, really painful. So there are, thankfully, pre-made animations in the SDK from where we were looking for before, right? So you go back to the SDK, go back to examples 3, go to animation, and instead of going to controllers, this time we're going to go to proxy anims. So you're going to see here there are a lot of stuff here, lots and lots of stuff. I'm going to just change it so we can see the names of them. And see, we got all sorts of stuff. That there's animations for completely different things, not even the ones that we're looking for. But what we are looking for is hands. So there are 8 of these, I believe. Right? Oh, okay. So there are 2 idle ones. So you actually don't need this second idle one. So you can click fist and control click gun, idle, open, piece, point, rock, and thumbs up. And once you have those all selected, you're going to just duplicate them and get all these ones that you just duplicated and find your folder that you made before and drag them straight into there, into face or hand, whichever one. I'm going to put it into hand. And you're going to probably want to rename every one of these. So I'm going to name it into fist. No, I'm going to rename it into hands fist. I feel like that'll be easier to remember. Rename this one to hands gun. Rename this one to hands idle. So you're going to want to make sure everything's fairly organized. Trust me, keeping your stuff organized is very nice to keep. I wish there was a quicker way to type all this. Hands piece, and then you change point to hands point. Hands rock, and then hands thumb. Okay, these are now the animations that we're going to be editing, if you want to actually change the way that her hands work. So what you want to do to start editing these things is expand this window down here with this little gray tab right here, so you can see this weird dude right here. You see him? He's a pre-made guy. But what you want to do is you can actually grab your model in the scene, so wherever the heck your model is, you've got to make sure one of your animations are highlighted so you can see this guy, and then you grab your model, and all you got to do is click and drag straight into here, and your model will be thrown in there instead. As I'm having some weird issues. What the hell? Oh, I don't even know how to fix that. God darn it. Well, thankfully, we don't need to look at all that stuff. We only need to look at the hands, thankfully. I don't know why that's happening. I'm sure it's not important. What do you want, kitty? Kitty, kitty. I don't even know where he is. Okay. So you can click through all these animations and you can see you have them changing. They change depending on which one you're using. So if you wanted to, you could go through every one of these, and here's open. You could go through every one of these and change what they look like. If you wanted them to look different in game, or if they just don't feel comfortable, or they don't fit your hand style or whatever, you could go through each one of these animations now, and you could expand this tab up and move it wider so you could read stuff. Move this tab over to the side so you can see what they actually say, and you can see that you have left hand index 1 2 3, index spread, little 1 2 3 spread, middle 1 2 3 spread for all of your hands. So you can edit every one of these so that your hands look and feel just the way that you want them to. It's not super important, but if you want it to, then yeah, you could totally do that. So I'm just going to, for example, I'm going to change my fist, right? I'll just do this really quickly and roughly. So left hand, I mean, it's going to be this hand right here. You could just change this to however you want it to look as a fist. So all you got to do is right now on the timeline, we only have one diamond here, meaning that's the only frame. What you actually want to do is this only applies for the fist, I should add. This only applies for the fist. You probably want your fist to be able to open and close really smoothly, other than just activate and turn on, right? So what you actually need to do is you need to make a whole new keyframe, because it needs to be able to blend between a 1 point, and it needs to be able to blend between the fist. So I'm going to show you how to do something right now. What you do is your fist is going to be blending between your idle hand and the fist animation, because obviously if you have your hand idle and you try squeezing your fist, it's going to go, the computer knows it's going to go from your idle hand to your fist. But this animation does not know that yet. It has no idea. Right now, all it has information for is what the fist looks like. So if you want it to be smooth, you don't need it to. If you want it to be smooth, what we're going to do is we're going to grab this diamond here, and we're going to move it to 0, 1 to the right. Move it right there, and boom, snap, and it snapped in. So now 0 has nothing there. It needs to have an animation there, though. So you can find your idle hand right here. That's my idle hand animation. I can see right here, this is what my hands will be looking like idle. So I can click this diamond now, and on my keyboard I'm going to hit Control V for copy. No, Control C for copy. So it is now copied. I hit Control C. I can go back to my fist animation, and I can scroll this over. Oh, why is it doing this to me? Come on. Oh, you poo-poo head. Alright, whatever. So basically you need to go to your 0, and you need to hit Control V to paste. And now you can see here, I just successfully pasted in the animation for idle hand. So this first frame is where I just pasted idle hand into. The second frame is what fist is going to look like. So if you look right here, now if you look at the avatar's hands, I can now move it between the two. Oh no, why isn't it showing up? What am I doing wrong? Give me just a moment. I'm not sure why that's happening. Ugh. Oh boy, I'm doing a really, really good job at representing the crew right now. Okay, I'm just going to show you how to do something else then, because I can't figure out how to get it to work this way. Alright, there's a thing called animation slaves on your avatars. I didn't want to get into this yet, but let's do it. So you're gonna click your avatar, and you're just gonna duplicate it, and so you have a second one, right? So now you have your second avatar. I'm gonna name this animation. Damn it, if I can click it. Rename, please. Hello? Oh, it's not letting me rename. Yay, Unity bugs, hooray. Okay, cool. I'm just gonna click it then, and on the top right here, I will force rename it to animation slave, I guess. Okay, we're not gonna do anything with this just yet, but we need to make an FX controller so that it can have an animation to attach to. So back to these animations 3.0 things. We have the hands, stuff, hands and face. Now these are both classified as FX controllers. Depending on which one we're going to be editing, that we want the animation slave to like show, we need to put that on there. So I want to edit the hands. So I'm going to click the hands, and I'm going to go to the top right here where I have animator. You probably don't have animator up, so I'm going to show you how to get that. If when you click this hands controller, animator does not show up and you do not see all of this stuff right here, you are going to click window, and you're going to go to general. No, you're going to go to animation. Sorry, you're going to go to window, you're going to go to animation, and you're going to go animator. Not animation, you're going to go to animator. And clicking that will make this then show up. It'll probably be floating somewhere, and you just need to make sure it's in here somewhere. So now I can see all of this stuff. Sorry, this is really complicated. I'm trying my best. So this is what the controller looks like. This is showing, I could basically say it starts loading into entry. This is when you get into the game, and then your hand will go to idle. So whatever animation is inside this orange square right here, in this case it says proxy hands idle, we're going to want to switch that. So we go to our hand animations that we made before. We have them right here. And I want to put my idle in there because right now it's using a proxy. This is not the one that I want to use. I want to use hands idle. So I'm going to drag that, put that in there, boom. My animation will now be used. Then you go to your fist, whatever the heck your fist is, and we're going to throw those in there too. So I'm going to throw my fist in here. I'm going to go to open, and you're going to throw open in there. And you're going to do this for each of those. So I'm going to speed through this a little bit, but essentially what you're doing is throwing your animations that match up with the block that you're clicking into the animation that's inside the block. So go to thumbs up and put thumbs up in there. Cool. So now I have all of those. There is one other thing. So neither me nor my friends really know how the heck to fix this thing, but for some reason when you go into your game, even though all this stuff is set up correctly, if you go into your game, all of your stuff will be breaking and blending together. As far as we know, the only way to fix this is by switching this box right here called Write Defaults inside the animation. So you need to make sure that these are ticked off. I'm sure there's another way out there to do it. I have watched a video on how to do it. It seems very complicated and very unnecessary, and from what I can tell isn't even actually necessary. So I'm just going to have Write Defaults checked off on everything. That is an important thing. Make sure Write Defaults is checked off on all of your things for your avatar. So from thumbs up to gun, make sure Write Defaults is on. Rock and roll, make sure it's on. Peace, make sure it's on. Point, make sure it's on. Open, make sure that's on. Fist, Write Defaults. Idle, Write Defaults. Now, any state doesn't have anything. You don't need anything there. Exit doesn't have anything. Entry doesn't have anything. It only needs to be on idle, fist, open, point, peace, rock and roll, gun, and thumbs up. We're going to be doing the same exact thing for the right hand. This whole time we've been editing the left hand, so you can make them different. If you wanted your left hand to have different animations than your right hand, you can do that. So left hand, right hand. You can see there different boxes that it's showing me. Right hand currently is still using the proxy hands idle. So I'm going to be, once again, driving my idle straight into there. Putting fist, I'm putting my fist straight into this slot. Open, putting open straight into that slot. Oh, I messed it up. Oh, I messed it up. Okay, hold on. If you accidentally click something like I just did, you can just drag your animation anywhere it gives you an X right here, right? So you don't accidentally throw it anywhere. So you could just let it go right here, here, and it'll just cancel. Nothing will happen. You're fine. You can go back to what you were doing. If for whatever reason you're a goof up and you messed up like I did, you may accidentally grab your animation and throw it straight into your FX controller like that. And you'll be like, oopsies, how do I get rid of that? You just hit it and hit delete key on your keyboard, and it'll go away. That's fine. So once again, sorry, going through. Fist, you're going to want to put your open in there, straight into the animation. Point, grab your point, put it in there. Piece, grab your piece, put it in there. Rock and roll, grab your rock and roll, and put it in there. And we're going to be doing a very similar thing for the face once we get there. Right now we're still doing the hands, but once we get to the face, we're going to be doing basically the exact thing. The face looks exactly the same as this controller. They could be very easily confused if you didn't read what it says on the bottom right here. It'll always tell you right here which one you're editing. So keep an eye on that too. And once again, we're going to make sure right defaults is on each one of these. I want to show you a little shortcut. So if we do need right defaults turned on idle, fist, open, point, piece, rock and roll, gun, and thumbs up, what you can do is you can control click each one of these. So you will have thumbs up, gun, rock and roll, piece, point, open. Sorry, I misclicked. You'll have all of those selected, and you can see that they're all glowing blue, meaning you have them all selected. And you can just tick a right defaults right here, and it'll turn it on for each one of them. So now if you go through them, you'll see each one of them have it turned on automatically. It's like magic. Okay, that's good. We have the hands controller done. So that is it for the hands. So we want to do the face. This is probably the one that's most important for everybody, since everyone's face is going to be different. It cannot make proxy face animations, so you need to make your own. So I'm going to go into my face animations right here, and I'm going to right click, and we're going to create, and we're going to go animation right here. So animation, click that, and every one of these are going to probably coincide with one of these: fist, open, point, piece, rock and roll, gun, or thumbs up. We don't need an animation for idle. You can just leave that alone. But you kind of do need an animation, I guess. So here, type in idle for your face animations that you just made. You type in idle. Now, you can just literally leave that alone. You need nothing in there. It does not need to have anything. It can be blank, empty, whatever. Just leave that blank. Make another animation. And this time, we're going to start making animations that are named after fist, open, point, piece, rock and roll, gun, and thumbs up. So, I'm going to name this one fist. And if you want to be a little cheatsy doodle like me, you can just duplicate over and over and over and over again. So you have a bunch of them. And just rename these instead. They're all blank animations, so it doesn't matter right now. So I duplicated them, and now I'm going to rename them to open, point, then piece, and then rock and roll, and then gun. And I also need another one for thumbs up, so let me duplicate any random one again and rename this duplicate into thumbs up. Okay, so now I have face animations. There's nothing actually animated in them yet, obviously, but we're going to need to drag them into your face controller. So right now you can see we're still on the hands controller. We need to open up the face controller on this window. So you go back to your animations folder 3.0 and you find your face, Kella face for mine, and you can see this is kinda, what the heck? Oh no. Okay, I don't like this. I'm going to make my own. I'm sorry. Here. So it gives you a bunch of stuff in here. Where is this? Hold on, give me a second. I might be able to learn what this is trying to do. What do you want to do, buddy? What? Okay, I am unsure what this is trying to accomplish. I'm gonna be honest with you. So I'm just gonna delete this because I don't know what that is. I'm gonna delete neutral because I don't know what that is. So if we only have any state and exit, I'm sorry if this doesn't follow what other animators are doing. This is just the way that I'm doing it. Oh my god, there's so much stuff in here. I'm going to delete this eyes layer as well, because we already have 3.0 working with the eyes. Oh my god, I think I'm messing everything up. Oh my god! Wait, no, I have an easier way to do this. Sorry, okay, hold on. We're gonna take your face controller, the one that we had from before, right? I'm going to straight up delete that thing. It has nothing on it. We haven't done anything with it yet. We're gonna delete it. I'm gonna take our hands, because I know what the hands looks like. I can work with this. I like how it looks and everything makes sense to me. I'm gonna take the hands and I'm gonna duplicate this one. And I'm gonna rename this duplicate into face. Now, I have a feeling that the reason that last one looked wrong, I feel like I grabbed the wrong example from the SDK. I don't think it was supposed to look like that. To make sure though, I'm going to go over here and take a look at stuff. Maybe not, maybe not. I don't know. I just do things differently, I guess. Huh. I was taught different. I'm sorry. I'm gonna teach you guys that too. Sorry. So we're gonna do the face now. So we already had the hands from before. If you click the hands controller, all of this has our hand stuff in there. We did just duplicate it though. So meaning the one that we just renamed to face, the duplicate of hands, the one that we have named face now has the same exact animations in there. We're gonna want to change that obviously, so that your face animations actually work and they're not hand animations, right? So you're gonna go to your 3.0 folder and go to your face animations. And remember, we named them all to fist, gunpoint, rock and roll, whatever the heck. Go to your idle, and instead of hands idle, you're gonna throw the empty idle in there. Has nothing in there. Go to fist and drag it in there. We're doing the same thing that we did before, basically, right? So get your open, put it in there. Get your piece. Oh no, sorry. Get your open, put it in there. Get your point, put it in there. Then your piece. I'll be going over this again to double check that you had everything correct, and I'll show you what it's supposed to look like. I realize that this is quite confusing, but understand that this is a live stream that I'm doing just impromptu, and I didn't really set any of this stuff up correctly. Okay, I got the left hand done. Now we want to do the right hand. So once again, go to idle and make sure your animation idle is put in there. Remember, we're working on face stuff right now. So open goes in here, point. I realize this is very tedious. There may be an easier way to do this. I do not know what it is. Wait. Okay, hands piece, put it in there. I think it's a good thing that we're running into issues though, because these are the kind of issues that I feel like other people might run into. Because I know I sure have. I've definitely followed some 3.0 tutorials and haven't been able to figure something out because I don't know what the hell is being asked of me. Okay, so this time we don't need to set right defaults because remember we duplicated this controller from the hands. So the face controller has a lot of the same settings as the hands did, but the only difference is this is going to be reading facial animations, the other one is going to be reading hand animations. Now, I guess I should have pointed out earlier this isn't 100% necessary to separate them. I do have some avatars where my FX controller, or I should say my face controller, also has my finger movements, and everything works perfectly fine in those. There's no issues. However, this is the way that I was originally taught to set up, and it is also far easier to keep track of things this way and much easier to edit animations this way. So I think from a simpleton standpoint, even though this is a little harder to set up, it is easier to work with in the long run. So if you do want to, you can just go through your left hand and click all your idle fist through thumbs up, and make sure right defaults is turned on for all of that stuff. Now, it already is turned on, so we're fine. Now, if you wanted to edit your face so you can see what the heck your blend shapes look like, right? So I want to make my fist blend shape. I want to see what this looks like right now, right? So I'm going to click fist. Remember, this is for face animations. Click that. No model preview is available, so I gotta drag my model in there. So I'm gonna drag. It doesn't matter which one. You could probably drag Animation Slave in there. They're both the same thing. It'll both show you the same thing at this point. Oh my god, right. I can't even see my face. Okay, give me just a moment. Ignore the next few seconds. I need to figure out what's wrong with this model. Because there's something preventing my face from being seen. I don't know what it could be though, so give me just a moment. I feel like it might be this bounding box thing. So I'm gonna make this larger. Oh my god. Oh, I love when I can't edit the bounds. Oh my god. This is frustrating, I'm sorry. You shouldn't have to mess with most of these other things here. I'm just trying to figure out what the heck could be wrong with something. There, my box is a little bigger. It may be a shader issue as well, so I'm going to take a look at the shaders and find wherever the heck the face is, right? Find the shader for that. Is there something here that would be telling it to disappear on me? Boy, I am not sure. I'm not sure what's going on there. Let me try checking it again. Maybe that bounding box fix worked. Go back to animations, go back to face animations, go to fist. Nope, it still isn't there. Wow. This is an anomaly. I'm not quite sure why this isn't working. Okay, so let me explain. Typically, your face obviously should be here, and when you go to fist, what you can do is you'll hit record here, and then you would go find your mesh with your blend shapes or your face stuff, and all you would do is just edit the sliders until it looks how you want, and then you would hit the record button again to stop, and your animation should be done. However, it's not working for me, so I'm gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way, and the old-fashioned way is ignoring this little box down here, and that's why we have an animation slave. So Animation Slave will allow you to edit any animation on it as long as it is part of the controller that you drag into this part right here. If you look at the top right where you have controller, right now it's set to none. I'm going to put Face in there. So remember, my Face controller, if you take a look at this, has all of these animations in there. It has idle, fist, open, through thumbs up. Anything that is put into any of these boxes will appear for me to edit. So I can go back to my animation slave. See here I have controller Face in there, make sure that's the right one. And now if you notice, when I click my avatar, the animation tab on the bottom here will light up right here with fist, and it'll show me all of my other animations. So I can see clearly here that I have fist, gun, idle, open, peace, point, rock and roll, thumbs up. So these are all my animations. I'm going to be editing it now, so let's do fist. So this is what the animation is going to look like when you hold your fist on your controller, right? So I can hit preview and nothing's happening. Hold on. Let's hit record and I'm gonna try. Whoa, what the heck? Oh, I'm dumb. Okay, here. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to see things change. I still have both of these models on. You do need to make sure your other one is turned off. Your original, the one that you need, turned off. The one that you named Animation Slave from earlier, keep that one on. The one that has the controller on it. Now you hit preview, and you'll see it drops down. Well, that's good. It's supposed to drop down. It goes into a bicycle pose. Wow, it's doing it again. What? This is surreal. I'm not sure what's going on. Ooh, I think I know what's going on. Hold on, give me just a moment. Strange. I don't think that has anything to do with it, but I'm going to check. No, it didn't. Okay, cool. It means I'm not dumb. Huh. This isn't gonna happen with your avatar. I doubt this will happen with any of your avatars. This is just some weird issue that I'm having, apparently. Wow. I'm not sure what to say about this right now. Drag that. Oh man. What if I just hit update when off screen? Okay, this is gonna be a little cheat code. Just FYI, don't ever have update when off screen on. That will mean that you're going to make everybody very, very laggy. But for my case, I cannot edit this thing without having that on. So I'm going to select all of my meshes. I'm going to update when off screen, turn that on. Now that means no matter how far away I am, no matter what angle I'm looking at, my avatar will always load. This is very, very bad. In-game, you don't want that to happen. It'll make everybody really laggy because you're constantly loading for them. Even if you're turned around, they'll always have you loaded, which isn't good. I'm only doing this for the moment because I have literally no other choice. So let's say I can see now. I can see my avatar. And back to normal. Pretend none of that happened. Okay, so your fist animation. To edit your fist animation, you're going to want to hit record, and now everything you do from now on is going to be recorded. So you're gonna click your face, because this is where your face animations are, and you're gonna open up your blend shapes. Now obviously mine are going to be named different than yours. I have a bunch of Japanese stuff, I have a bunch of weird symbols here, a bunch of weird crazy nonsense stuff. Let's just say when I close my fist I want it to look like, yeah, maybe I want my eyes closed when I close my fist, right? So let's say I do that, or yeah, let's just do that, right? Let's say I want my eyes closed when I do my fist, so I'm gonna just put that blend shape on. You can put as many of these blend shapes on as you want, whatever the heck suits your boat. So I will hit record again to end that recording, and then hit preview again, and you can see my avatar's face goes back to normal, and if I hit preview again, she'll drop back down and show me the preview of the animation that I just made. So that is what you would do for each of your facial animations. So if you wanted to change your fist or your gun, that's how you do it. Once again, to edit them, you need to click your animation slave, and you'll be able to edit them because you have the controller in here. Anything that's in that controller, you'll be able to edit. So anything in Califace. So once again, go to animation, and because I have this selected right now, I can go over here and go through all of this. I know it's really confusing sometimes. People will keep clicking these animations right here, and you won't be able to edit it from there, and you'll be very confused as to why. You have to click your animation slave that we made that has a controller on it, and then click them so you can edit them. So you can see fist already has a blend shape on there. I can go to gun, and I can hit record, and I can once more edit this one this time, right? So hit your face so that you have it selected, find your blend shapes, and let's do that, right? Maybe I like that face. Hit record, preview, done. So even though I only edited these two, you can edit all of them if you want, except idle. Don't touch idle, because idle is what your face looks like by default. You shouldn't need to touch that at all, otherwise you'll get really, really weird combinations going on. So I edited the fist. So we can go back over here, and remember we're in face controller at the moment. So left hand, because we already dragged in our animation for fist and all that stuff, we already have the animation in there. It should apply now if we go in-game. Or I'm going to do this. This is a little thing that you can do to preview things. So I'm going to hit play. And if I want to preview what that looks like, I open up this animator, right? And let's say I want to look what fist looks like. So I can see I got my animation in fist. There's an arrow pointing to fist from any state. This is basically what is read by the game as what gesture your controller is doing. So in this case, it's holding your fist. So gesture left equals 1. So you can know that whenever gesture left equals 1, that means fist is activated, which is important when you go to parameters. Because you go to parameters and you will have gesture left right here where you can take a look at what your face looks like. So if I type in 1 here, my face will go to its closed eyes. I can see what that looks like. And I can go back and my eyes open again. And you can mess with that. You can take a look at number 2, which has nothing. 3, which has nothing. 4 has nothing. 5, nothing. Now 6 has gun in it right now because I animated that, remember? So if you had a full plethora of animations, you could go through and preview each one of them. You could even combine them. So let's say I want to see what gun looks like when on my left hand when I'm holding my gun fingers out. I want to see what that looks like on my right hand when I have my fist out. So I'm going to do 1, which is fist, and you can see it morphs, looks really dumb. That's just how the game works. But if you wanted to do combo gestures or something like that, that's how you would preview them to see what they're set up like. So this is useful for taking a look at what your stuff looks like before you go in game and seeing if they transition and making sure that the controller overall even understands what the hell you threw in there. So everything works here. So I'm going to hit play again. And we go back, and now we're back here. So what the heck is next? I think I just finished that, right? We want to make the menu parameter. Okay, cool. So if we go back, I'm going to close the animation slave now. We don't need to touch this for the moment. So I'm going to close that. I'm going to go back to my model and click this check up here again to show it. And so we have here our gesture and FX layer. These are the ones that we just made. So you can click default gesture, boink, and you can hit the circle right here. And you can find the one that we had. So for gesture, that's hands basically. So we're going to throw hands in there. Color hands goes into gesture, and then FX, same thing. Click that, click the circle. And hella face goes in there because face is the FX. And there you go. Those are now inside your avatar. Those will work once you go in game. So if you go in game right now, this very moment, and you started moving your hands and your fists and stuff, it will give you the animations that we put in there. That will work perfectly fine. So the next part is we can ignore everything else here, unless you needed like advanced options for stuff. We'll go to expressions. So you open this up, you hit customize, and you can see here menu and parameters we have set to none. Now you only really need to set these up if you want to do crazy 3.0 stuff, like if you wanted to do outfit toggles, or if you wanted to do hair toggles or color swaps or something like that. That's when these will come in, and that's when a little more advanced stuff goes. But if you really just wanted to upload this avatar right now as is, nothing else, just the avatar, then you would go just leave it. You don't need to even do anything. But for today's example, I'm going to make an outfit toggle. I want to toggle this sweater on and off, okay? So we're going to need to make our own menu and parameters if I want to do that. These menu and parameters are the same ones that you'll use for your avatar all the time for everything. So I need a pre-made version of them. There are, remember, we have that proxy folder. We can go back to the VRC SDK, go to examples 3, and find the where is it? Expression? Animation? I think it's animation. Controllers. Okay, one of these ought to be it, right? No. Give me just a moment. Expressions menu. I'm a dork. Yeah, it's called the expressions menu for a reason, of course. Okay, so yeah, VRC SDK, examples 3, expressions menu. And so you see here, we have 2 already made. The parameters and the expressions menu. So you can take both of these. If you click it, you can see it's got stuff in there already. In both of them. This one has nothing. So you take both of these, just duplicate them. So you'll have new ones of those. And we're going to drag these into your animations 3 folder that we made from before. So get your duplicates, drag it into your 3. There you go. Now we have them in here with our other stuff. So get this. You can see this one right here is expression parameters. So we're going to want to rename this so that it works for our avatar. So I'm just going to rename this to Kella parameters. And I'm going to get the other one, which is an expressions menu. And I'm going to rename this one to Kella menu. So got those 2. We need to put them onto the actual avatar now. So you go back, click your avatar in the hierarchy, scroll down, go to your menu, and click this little circle on the side, and we're going to put Kella menu in there this time. Kella menu gets put in there, go to parameters, Kella parameters gets put in there. So we now have our own custom parameters and our own custom menu. So if we want to do a an outfit swap, this sort of stuff is going to involve the parameters, the menu, and the FX. There's a few ways you can start this, but essentially it all ends up in the same place. So what you need to do is you need to... I'm going to start from my parameters, okay? Now, if I want to toggle my sweater off and on, right? There are a few options we can do here. There are things. There's this thing called an integer, which is gives us 8 different options that we can go between. There's a float, which gives us like smooth movements and stuff like that, and then there's a bool, which is either on or off. If I'm just going to be doing my sweater, I can do bool, and I'm just going to rename this to sweater. So you may have an avatar that has a lot of outfits that you may want to swap between all of those outfits. In that case, you would probably be better off going with an integer and then setting that up. There are better videos out there for that stuff. I'm just going to show you how to do a outfit toggle on or off. So you go sweater, you go bool, meaning it'll be either on or off. So that's it for the parameter for the moment. You need to go to I'm going to go to my face because that's my FX. Remember from before? I dragged that into my FX layer. So it is a little misleading, I guess. I could totally rename it to FX instead, which would probably be the smart thing to do, but it's too late in the video to do that now, I'm sorry. You go to your face, right? And you need to... In this here, you have your layers right here, left hand, right hand, and you have parameters. You need to go to parameters first, and you need to hit this plus right here to add a new parameter. You need to add a bool because we made that parameter in the parameter menu a bool. And you need to make sure it is named the exact same as the other one. So it needs to be sweater with a capital S, and that should be good. Now we can go back to layers, and we're going to make a new layer because this is a completely new type of thing that we're doing. It has nothing to do with the hands. It's going to be a completely different type of option. So this is going to be named, I'm just going to name this sweater. And you need to go to this wheel cog here. That's very important. And you need to click that little cog, and you need to make sure weight is set to 1. If it's set to 0, it will do nothing. I have no idea why it's by default set to 0. I've never seen a scenario in which that is necessary, but for some reason it's like that. I'm gonna move this stuff closer to each other so you can see it easier. So when you click that layer right here called sweater, you'll see you're just left with any state, mtree, and exit. These are kinda just there right now. So ignore entry, that's gonna be there all the time, and exit, I'm gonna throw that off to the right, and any state. So the way I like to do this is I like to create state, create empty, and we have that empty into new state. We're gonna leave new state alone. That's just going to be just imagine it as like that's what your avatar just looks like by default. So if we don't do anything to it, your avatar will stay exactly the way it is. So where the actual animation part comes in is we need to make a new animation for actually toggling the clothes. I'm going to go back to my 3.0 layer thing here. I'm going to right click this, create. I'm going to make a new folder, and just for future proofing I'm going to name this clothing, and you go in here and you're going to make a new animation in here, and I'm going to name this sweater on, and I'm going to duplicate that, and I'm going to rename this one sweater off. So that way you will have a way to switch between sweater on or off at will. So sweater off is where we're going to need to actually record this and animation, like animate it, right? And remember, we have now this FX controller. So if we grab these animations right here, sweater on and sweater off, and we put them into the FX controller, even if we don't like connect them to anything or they're not doing anything, they don't even need to have an animation in them yet. As long as we have these animations put inside here, we'll be able to edit them. So remember, that is put inside this face controller. Now, if we hide our main avatar, and we go back to our animation slave, remember that I have the face controller attached to the animator on this version, which means I can edit the animation. So we go back to animation, we go to fist over here, and we go to sweater on or off. So I want to do sweater off. So all you got to do for this is you hit record, it'll go back into the bicycle pose. I'm going to click my sweater till the orange highlight sweats up, and then all you got to do is hit this check all the way on the top, which will turn it off. And you can see there it's gone now, and a new object popped up in this animation showing that game object is active, and it is unchecked, which means game object is not active. So you hit record again and preview, and your sweater will go back on like normal, and this animation is basically done. And now you go to sweater on, because it doesn't know how to turn the animation on again, right? Or it doesn't know how to turn the sweater back on. Wait, that's not how you do it. Okay, you click the avatar again, animation slave. You go back to your animations and go to sweater on, and see that has nothing, so we're gonna hit record again. She goes back into the pose. You need to click it again. This time you toggle it off, and then turn it back on. And now it knows, okay, turn it back on, basically. And end the recording and preview. So we can take a look here. Sweater on, tops, game object active is set to check. So that means it'll turn on. And if you go to off, it is unchecked, meaning it'll turn off. So now we can open up our face controller again. So we're going to make from any state, we need to right click, make transition, and go to sweater off. And then right click, make transition, go to sweater on, right click, transition, go to exit. That will be the full animation. So when we click a button, it will go to sweater off, and if you click that button again, it'll turn the sweater back on, ending the animation. So you need to click these arrows, otherwise it will not know what the heck you're asking it to do. So you need to click the arrow under conditions. Hold on. Okay, So you go, you need to click the arrow, and it is missing a condition here. You can ignore everything else here that isn't important. You need a condition. So you click plus, and it needs to be gesture left. Instead of that, it needs to be sweater. Remember, before we put inside our parameters list right here, we put sweater. And right now it's unchecked, meaning the animation is not on. That is good. That's what we want. So make sure conditions sweater equals true. So right now, like I said right now, parameters sweater is unchecked. That means it is not true. So from any state, if we want to turn the sweater off, we need to make that condition true, which is what happens when we click the button. So once we click the button, it'll read as true, and it'll turn this animation right here, which is the off. It'll turn the sweater off essentially. And then we need to set up a way for that to shut itself off. So you do another one, click plus on the arrow connecting from sweater off to sweater on. Go to arrow, and you need to make a condition, and you need to set it to sweater, and this time you're going to set it to false. So what it's going to look like now is it goes from any state. The arrow says sweater true. The sweater animation is there. We set that up earlier. And then this arrow going to sweater on, which is set to false because we want the sweater animation to turn itself off so that the sweater turns on. I know it's confusing that it's going on, off, on, off. I'm sorry. That's just how this is going to work right now. And then the arrow going to exit, you don't need anything to exit. For my animation specifically, the way that I set it up, you don't need anything to lead to exit, so that's fine. You can leave new state alone, entry alone, the arrow right here for new state and entry, nothing needs to be there. Only thing we're worrying about is these guys right here. So we can preview what this looks like now that we have it set up. So if you click play again and open this up, so you see your avatar here. I'm going to open up the animator, and you see right here, if you look, I'm in the sweater folder right now, and it is showing that it's on new state and it's doing that over and over, but it's not doing the animation. So you need to press a button for the animation, obviously. So you go to parameters, and you can see here that that parameter that we set before, the sweater, right now is conditioned to off, meaning it's not doing anything. It's not off. It's not being called on. So you need to hit the check to see what it looks like. You hit check, and the sweater turns on. Or sweater turns off, and you can see here now it recognizes that. It's showing here saying, hey, sweater's off, and then if I uncheck that, the sweater will go back on and finish, and the animation is over. It's good. That is how you do a toggle. Now you could toggle most anything. You could toggle your skin off if you wanted to for whatever reason. This sort of toggle would work for if you had dynamic bones on your mesh as well, you would also animate those into your animation. This sort of thing would also work if you wanted to do hair swaps, if you wanted to change the material on your avatar. It would work the same way. So only difference would be when you hit record, instead of clicking your sweater mesh and then unchecking it to turn it off, you would instead just drag a material straight onto your avatar, and then it would record the material being swapped. I'm not gonna do that right now though. I got the sweater button, I got the sweater working, so we need a way to actually activate that in game. So you go back to your avatar on the hierarchy, and oh wait, I'm sorry, this is the animation slave, so we're gonna hide that again. We don't need him right now. I'm gonna open up your actual avatar, turn that back on. So you go back over here, and remember we have our menu and we have our parameters. And we just finished the FX for the animation. So you go back to your parameters, double check here that you do have sweater set to bool, same as here on your FX. It is sweater and it is a bool, so that's good. So you're going to want to open your menu up, which is right here. Right now it has nothing on there, or you could also open it up by hitting your avatar and clicking your menu right here, and it'll show you where it is. You click it again, open it up. So right now, controls, we have nothing. There are no controls. You need to tell it. This is where you open it up in-game. This is the menu that you're looking at in-game. So you need to click Add Control, open up this drop-down for New Control, and we're going to name this one Sweater. And icon, I don't have an icon for this. If you had an icon that you wanted to put in there, you could do it. Type, we're going to switch that to a toggle, since this is a toggle. And parameter is where you tell it what the heck it's toggling. So that is where we put sweater in. So now that we have the menu that says we have a sweater button, it activates the parameter called sweater. And remember, looking in your face controller, you have right here sweater that is unchecked. So whenever you click the button that says sweater in game right here, it will check that parameter for you, turning the animation on, and then you click it again and it'll turn it off, and it'll work exactly like that in game. So that is basically it for setting up an avatar. Obviously, you could go a lot more in depth. There are all sorts of other stuff that you could be working with, that you could be doing. But that's just the basics. You can always add on to all these things. So look, like if you wanted to have another toggle to toggle your sweatpants off, right? You could literally go through here, click that, make this sweatpants, whatever the heck. I don't know. Then you would make sure that you have a new parameter in here called sweatpants, and make sure that inside your parameters menu here is also called sweatpants. It could be bool. And then you would just do the same thing that we did before with this layer right here for sweater. You'd set it up exactly the same way, only difference would be it's called something different, and that would work exactly like that. Also remember, once more, that this cog right here always needs to be set to weight 1, otherwise it will not work, nothing will work. Other than that, this avatar is done. If I uploaded this to the game right now, it should work. However, I have a really bad feeling that my avatar is broken because all that previous stuff that was happening from before, and because I have an upper chest bone in this very specific avatar for some reason. Upper chest bones are not allowed in VR chat. I'm not sure why, but this avatar has one, meaning I'm not going to be able to upload this. But basically, how you upload it is you log into the SDK right here. Remember, we dragged the SDK over here. If you do not have the SDK there, you can always click on the top of your window where it says VRChat SDK and click Show Control Panel, and it'll show up for you again. So you would just need to log in again. I have a 2-factor authentication, so I need, I hit sign up. Whoopsies, no, stop that. Hit sign in. And give me a second, I need to log in. Okay, good. Okay, there we go. So what you would do is you go to Builder right here. And as you can see here, it's telling me right away that my spine hierarchy is incorrect because I have an upper chest. And hopefully you wouldn't run into an issue like this. It's not going to let me upload. I literally can't test this because this avatar is dumb. I really should have done this whole test on a completely different avatar, to be honest with you. But in your case, you should be able to upload it. You shouldn't have that error. You may also get things like this. So I have right here, a material on this avatar has custom shader keywords. Please consider optimizing it. Now, you don't need to necessarily mess with this stuff. It does help optimizing, but it's kind of confusing, and if you don't know what the heck you're doing, you could accidentally turn off a feature of your shader. So I honestly wouldn't touch it myself. I don't like messing with it. You can see preview stats here of how optimized your avatar is. You can see this avatar isn't bad. It's pretty decent. So normally what you would be able to do is you'd be able to hit build and publish for Windows. You can hit build and test. What build and test does is it builds a local offline version of your avatar that you can use to just look yourself. It's really quick. It uploads instantly right to VRChat. So if you have the game open already, you can go and just take a look at what it looks like instantly. You don't need to wait for it to upload or anything. However, if you want everyone else to see it, you're going to need to upload to online publishing right here where it says build to publish to Windows. You click that, and then right here in your game tab it would open up and you'll see like a whole plethora of options there saying here's what you name your avatar. Do you want to take a picture for it and stuff like that? You would set all that up and then you would hit upload, and once you get in game you will have your avatar. However, I'm an absolute doofus and I cannot do that because I picked a broken avatar to work with today. So yay. It just should go to show you though that you could set up all this stuff on any avatar even if it's busted. Ideally though, your avatar would be usable in game, and it isn't this avatar. Just FYI, if anybody happened to buy this avatar, I do have a fixed version of this avatar. Here, let me throw it in because I do have a fixed version of this avatar somewhere because I used this avatar a very long time ago. So let me find it real quick. Okay, I'm gonna just drag this new model in there because I have my own updated version of the avatar that is a little different and fixed because I ran into this issue the same before last year because I bought this avatar a year ago and it had the same issues, so I had to fix everything myself because it just wasn't uploadable to VRChat. So you can see here I got my new avatar in here. It's just there. I'm gonna throw it here, boink. You can see she's shorter. Obviously it's a different avatar. Close that, blah blah blah. It's all messy-wessy because it's got all different types of mesh and stuff like that. But essentially, see, if your avatar worked, you could just do the same damn thing to this guy right here if I felt like fixing everything. But it's got all weird materials and stuff like that on here right now, blah blah blah. I'm not quite in the mood to fix everything. I don't know about you, but it's a little annoying. Oh boy, I'm fixing it, aren't I? Oh, that's weird. I wonder why that's black. I don't even know why that's black. Yeah, basically that's the premise of uploading your avatar to VRChat. Everything ideally would work if it wasn't busted as shit. So here, let me show you this. This avatar has nothing on it. I'm going to add a VRChat avatar descriptor, and I'm done. I don't need to do anything. I could edit the viewpoint if I wanted to. I could bring this down and make sure that it is in the correct position. But it's not going to have any of the animations on it, obviously, because nothing here is plugged in and it's going to be different named and stuff, so that stuff wouldn't carry over. But just to show you, I could upload this avatar right now without anything on it. I don't need to touch lip sync, I don't need to touch eye look, I don't need to touch layers, expressions, nothing. I could just go to VRChat SDK. It says that they're blend shape normals. Remember from before I was telling you about that you need to fix that. So once again, you can go here, click that, inspect there. Oh boy, oh that's a prefab, never mind. Go here and change that once more. Legacy blend shape normals, apply, give it a second. Right, and then you go to SDK, blah, 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 custom keywords, not using humanoid, god damn it, I forgot about that. Humanoid, apply. Spine hierarchy missing elements. Please map chest. Oh, right. Okay, cool. Also forgot about that. Just keep in mind that you wouldn't need to do all these on most of your avatars. Most of your avatars are probably being made by somebody who knows what they're doing and not broken like mine. So, very sorry about this. Hit done once again, VRC SDK. There we go. Build and publish for Windows. Now I can use this version of the avatar and upload it if I want to. But yeah, that's it for how to set up an avatar in 3.0. I hope I kept it as simple as possible for you. I hope you know what you're doing. There's plenty of videos as well online about how to do some of this stuff. Sometimes it can be a little confusing, but it really isn't that hard. 3.0 avatars are quite easy. Like you just saw, I literally just uploaded an avatar right now without putting anything on it. You couldn't do that before. So, it shouldn't be that hard. I'm going to end the dang stream now because I think I have finished doing what I wanted to do. So, this video is 2.5 hours. Holy crap. Oh my god. Okay, okay. I'm done. Y'all have a good one. As soon as I figure out how to stop this recording.